told you we'd be back. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to talk a little bit about quality and how that is reflected in your program. And if you can go ahead and pause the video, I know we just came back. Go ahead and pause the video and read through the quality section of this chapter, specifically looking at the two programs. And we'd like you to read the two programs.
The two program descriptions.
Program descriptions. Yeah, well.
Okay, so it's real important to know how you define quality. Both of those programs can be quality programs, but you have to have an idea of what are the indicators for your program. Research is real clear, so as long as you hit the major things, which is having teachers who know what they're doing and have some training and experience, having relatively small group sizes, and having low teacher to child ratio, if you hit those three things, then you've done what research says you need to do. But you need to have an understanding of how you define quality. Does it mean that the children have handouts that are going home every day? Do they have seat work where they have prescribed things that they need to get done? Or do you have kids who come in their pajamas and who spend half of the day outside building sandcastles?
I wouldn't know any of those.
Both of those types of programs are quality programs, but they have a different understanding of how to help the children get the desired goals. So knowing what your goals are for your program and for the kids, and also knowing how to talk about it. If you have that first program, the academic program, that you need to talk about school readiness and cognitive development and the social interaction and how you have small groups and things like that. But if you have the program that's all about experiential learning, you need to be able to talk about creative play and problem solving and those kinds of things. You have to have the verbiage.
And this is kind of where it comes back to that professionalism and being able to talk the talk and talk it to your parents. When you get into the marketing section, you also need to be able to use those terms in your marketing, and it needs to be consistent. If you've defined a quality program as a program where the kids are learning from an academic standpoint, and they're sitting in chairs or sitting in little desks and they're doing their schoolwork there, what a great program that you have. It's your opportunity to make sure that that's the program that people see when they come to visit, that's the program they see on your website and in your newsletter. Make sure that your program website has the kids looking academically engaged. If you have parents who come to your program to do a tour, don't bring them at recess if they're coming because you're promoting it as an academic program. Now, I loved the programs full of experiential learning, and those are awesome programs too, because the little kid in his pajamas that played in the sand all day was my currently 16-year-old son. So shh, don't tell him. And he'll tell you that he didn't learn anything, but he did. He learned a lot. And it's appropriate for that child. And one of the things we're going to talk about later in the program is making sure that your program's a match for families. And sometimes somebody's determination of quality is going to be very different than yours. If you have a parent who's expecting the kids to be inside and clean, they are not going to be amused by mud, sand, dirt, or things that might get their kids' clothes messy. Okay, I'm familiar with that family too.
The other thing is, can someone walk up to your program if you are out of town dealing with a family emergency, or if you have laryngitis? Can someone walk into your program, whether it's a potential client for your program or somebody who wants to come work? Can they walk into the program and see, smell, hear, touch, taste, whatever? What can they experience that validates your version of quality? Because talking about those two different programs, the experiential program and the academic program, they're going to have different things on the walls. The noise level is going to be different. You walk into a Montessori program and typically there is a look for a Montessori program. Please do not try to set up a Montessori program and have Snoopy painted on the wall. It's not going to work. You're going to have some cognitive dissonance there.
Yeah. I mean, understand that chances are your parents are doing their homework. I see more and more parents today come around with their little checklist on how to determine a quality program. You need to be able to sell your program and understand why your program is better than the competition. What makes your program quality? Whatever you do, don't say that somebody else's program is not quality. That is not for you to determine. You need to sell the quality aspects of your program using the terms and the professionalism that you've learned. I've had people come to my program entirely because somebody else said my program was a bad program because of a philosophy or the way we defined quality programming, because we didn't have every kid lined up in rows and we weren't doing worksheets every single day. And so in this other program's eyes, I guess, we were not a quality program. I had a family who specifically said the reason they came is because the other program talked bad about us, and they knew they didn't want to put their child in a program like that.
And there are ways to have external validation. This is what we call accreditation most of the time. And there's lots of different organizations that accredit child care centers. There's a list in your book. And there's also, if you are a CCMS or CCDS or whatever, if you get child care block grant funds at your program, in Texas there is a free accreditation for programs that are participating called the Texas Rising Star, and it's a great program to go through. But there's plenty of other accreditation styles and criteria. Accreditation is a wonderful thing to do for your program, for your staff morale, as well as for the clients to be able to tell that it's a quality program.
Again, like I said before, there's that list that your parents may come in with. They may ask how many of your teachers have a CDA, and they may not even know what a CDA is. They may want to know how many of your teachers have teaching certificates, and if you don't have a kindergarten program, you may be trying to figure out why that matters. This is their interpretation of quality. So remember, even though you may or may not choose to go through an accreditation program, and we are not sitting here telling you that you have to or that we even think you should. That comes back to your individual program, comes back to your program's budget, because most of the times those accreditations have a fee, except for the one that's currently sponsored by the state of Texas, and that can change anytime, as you all know. And you know what another person says is a quality program may be different from yours. So make sure that if you're looking at one of those accreditation entities, and make sure you go through and really read their requirements. Is that a match to your program? If it's not a match to your program, don't spend the money. Don't get your parents or your staff invested in that credential if it's not something that your program's comfortable with. Remember, the minimum standards are the minimum. Quality is up to what you and your program define as quality. If you're an organization with an advisory board or a nonprofit board of some sort, get them involved in deciding what is quality, because they need to be able to back your determination or your decision on quality in everything they do. So whether that's buying curriculum, whether that's getting a new space, whatever it is, make sure that your board backs your version of quality.
Absolutely. So board education is a very key thing. If you have a board, whether advisory or board of directors, that is something that Learning Links does, but lots of other people do as well. Please, if you have a board, please, we've been working with a program this week. Please make sure that you have some board education.